Today we are going to talk about 10 MS Excel tips and tricks that are going to save you a ton of time and ease your life while working with MS Excel. Excel is considered a tough to use application by different users, but today I'm going to show you 10 tricks that will make your life very easy while working with MS Excel. Let's jump into the first one. As you can see on this first Excel sheet, we have data that the column widths and the row height are not correct according to the data. So what we need to do is to auto adjust the column width and the row height. For that, let's select the entire sheet like this and press Alt HOI, which will adjust the column width automatically. Now for adjusting the row height, we need to press Alt HOA and it will adjust the row height automatically as well. So now we have the column width completely aligned to the data and the row height completely aligned to the data. Let's move on to the next one. In this sheet, you can see that we have current timing listed here. Now we want to have another timing based on this current time. We want to add some hours and minutes to the existing time that we have. So to add a fixed time, we can use the time function. For example, we can say equals this cell plus time function, where we can add hours. For example, I want to add 2 hours, 30 minutes and 0 seconds. Close parentheses, press enter. It will give me this new timing, and if I drag this down, we'll have new timing for each cell here. In the new time random, we want to add a random time to this existing time. For example, I want to add something like, let me click on this cell, plus we need to use the time function again, and for hour we can use rand between. For example, I want to add random hours between 1 and 5. Close. And I don't want to add minutes, so I will add 0 minutes and 0 seconds. Close parentheses, press enter. So it will add random hour to the existing time. If I drag this down, it will add random time to the existing time that we have. In trick number 3, we have been asked to add one empty row after each row. For example, we have these 10 rows in this table, and we have been asked to add one empty row after each row. For that, we can add it manually as well, but it's better to use a trick to ease our life while working here. So I need to add a column here. Let's add sorted column, and let me add 1 2. Drag this down to the entire rows. Now we have 10 here. Copy this from 1 to 10 and paste it down here to make it double. So we have 1 to 10 2 times. Now what we need to do is to right click on 1, go to sort and click on sort smallest to largest. Click on this. Now we can see that one empty row has been added after each row. We can safely delete this column, and we will have this table where one empty row is added after each row. Let's move on to trick number 4. We need to get percentage of total for each value. For example, we have these values. The total is over 59,000. We have been asked to find out what is the percentage of this value according to the total. So we can add it manually. For example, we can say that equals this multiplied by 100 and divided by this total. If I press enter, it says that this value is 13% of the total. And what we need to do is to make this formula as fixed. Let me fix this, press enter. Now we can see that this first value is 13% of the total. The second value is 6% of the total, and so on. But we need to do it automatically. So for that, let me select all of these values. Once I select this, we can see this little icon, which is quick analysis tool. We need to click on this. Now let's go to totals, go to the right, and percent total is what we need here. Click on this. There is already data. Okay, click OK. Now we can see that the first value is 13.1% of the total. The next one is 6%, then 9%, and so on. So this is very easy thing that we can get percentage of total for each value using the quick analysis tool. Let's move on to the fifth one. In the fifth one, we need to clean the product name. For example, we can see that the product name is not clean. We have extra spaces, we have lower and upper cases, and so on. So we need to adjust this. For that, let me use 2 functions. The first one is proper function. Inside the proper function, we need to use trim function. Trim function will remove the extra spaces, and proper function will adjust the casing. So close this, close parenthesis again, press enter, and from this apple we now have this apple, which is a clean version. If we double click this and drag it down, we will have clean version of the data. Let's now go to the sixth trick. Here we need to find the working days. So we have employees list here, and for each employee we have the start date of his tenure, we have the end date, and we have the holidays. For finding the working days, we can use a function that is network days. It's as for the start date, we already have it, the end date, we already have it, and the holidays. Close parentheses, press enter. It says that the first employee, Jack, has worked for 90 days in this company. If we drag this down, we will have the network days for each employee separately. Let's move on to the sixth one, but before moving on to the sixth one, let me remind you that I've added a link for our LinkedIn community that you can join, where we share technical books about data analysis, data engineering, and data science. And we also share our videos there, and latest updates, whatever we have, we share it in that community. So you may want to join that to stay updated. Let's get back to the video. Now we have the seventh trick. We have this data where name and year appears to be in the rows and columns. So in the first column we have the years, and in the first row we have the names of the people. Then we have the salary or their total sales, something like that. So what we need to do is to switch the first row and the first column. So we want to see the years in these different rows instead of names, and we want to switch the names to bring it to the first column. So for that, let me select this entire table's data, press Ctrl C to copy this data, click here, right click, and then go to transpose, paste as transpose. If I click this, now we can see that the names of the people are in the first column, and the years have been switched and brought to different columns here to the first row. Let's now move on to the trick number 8. We again have this table where we want to find out the total of each row and the total of each column. It's very easy to use the sum function, but we need to do it with a shortcut key. So for that, let me select this entire data, including these empty total column and total row. So press Alt equal, and it will automatically calculate the total for each row and for each column. That's it. It's very simple. Next is trick number 9, which is a very beautiful trick. We have been asked to highlight rows with the selected records. For example, in the search column or in the search cell here, we can see that there are different items. The task is that if we select an item from this search cell, with that item we need to highlight all those rows that are listing this item. For example, if I select orange, all those rows that have orange, for example this one and this one, these must be highlighted with a certain color. So for that, let me select this entire table. Remember that I'm not selecting the first row. Press Ctrl, Shift and arrow down to select the entire data in this table. And now let's go to Home, Conditional Formatting, go to New Rule and select Use a Formula to determine which cells to format. Click here, add an equal sign, and now what we want to highlight is if this selected cell is equal to this product name. Remember to remove this $sign from the 2 here, because if we fix it to 2, it will always compare this orange with this watermelon. But what we want to compare is to compare this orange with the entire data. So for that, we will remove this $sign from 2 to enable MS Excel to come down and compare it with all the rows. Let's now give it a formatting. Go to Format, Fill. Let me select this color. Go to Font, and in the font let's select bold, not italic, and the color must be white so we can see it clearly. Click OK. Now those rows matching the selected item from the search box will be highlighted like this. Click OK, and now we can see that orange has been highlighted. If we change the selection from orange to watermelon, you can see that all the rows with watermelon are highlighted, and if we select grape are highlighted. That's it. Let's move on to the last one. We again have this table where we have this search box. We need to select an item from here, but now instead of highlighting the rows, we need to calculate the total according to the selected item. But the problem is that we have item here, but we have product name plus the company name or the customer name here. So this way we need to compare this product with this name and then calculate the sum of sales and write the sum of sales here. So let me add the formula. For that, let's use the SUMIF function. SUMIF. In the range, we need to select this range. Press Ctrl Shift arrow down to select all these values here. Go back to the function. Press a comma. In the criteria, if we select this item, it will not be equal to these items because in the product we have the customer name as well. So let's modify the criteria. First, let's add double quotes, asterisk, double quotes, and now this item, and again double quotes, asterisk, double quotes, and that's it. What this means that in this I2 cell we have the product name, and whatever comes before the product name, ignore that. Whatever comes after the product name, ignore that. We just need something that is matching this I2 sales value. I2 sales value is this search value. So whatever is matching from this product list to this I2 sales value, we need to calculate the sum for that. That's it. Let's add another comma and select the sum range. The sum range is this sales columns value. Click here to select all the values, close parentheses, and press enter. We can see that the total is calculated for pineapple. If we change the selection, remember this will be changed. If we change the selection from pineapple to orange, we can see that the sum is calculated again, and if we select watermelon, the sum is calculated again for watermelon. That's it. We have studied the 10 tricks that we wanted to study in this video. I hope you get some value from this video. If you are getting value from this video, make sure to give it a like, leave your comments in the comment section, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one.